Hey guys, welcome to our makeshift shop today. Today we are going to be putting together Hannah's new Mathews Prima bow, and it's not really all that new. We've had it for a couple of months, but Hannah has been off at college in College Station, Texas at Texas A&M, and so this is her really first weekend home that we've had a chance to work on this. So we've been doing a lot of projects this weekend, doing some canning, making some pickles. We've ground up a bunch of meat. We have done some freeze drying, all kind of different projects, but the main project that we want to get done this weekend while she's home, before she leaves, is get her bow set up. So we've got the Mathews Prima here. It is a 30-inch axle-to-axle bow. It's under 4 pounds. She has been shooting the Mathews Avail, and if you go check out some of her previous videos, she's had great success with it. But we decided to go ahead and upgrade her this year as part of our Mathews sponsorship to the Mathews Prima bow. So she's really excited about shooting that. So today we're just going to get it set up. Ordinarily, it would probably be easier just to run over to Brush to Bay Outfitters, who is also a sponsor of TexasBowhunter.com. Tim is very good about letting us use his shop and do things there. But being a holiday weekend, 4th of July weekend this weekend, we decided that we were going to kind of make our makeshift bow setup studio.
It's hard for me to get here when everyone's open.
Yeah, so we're going to make the best with what we have. We don't have all the tools that we need, but we're going to make the best of what we have to get at least the accessories put on it, get it where she can shoot it, get the bow string shot in a little bit, and then we can work on a little bit better tuning after she's got that string shot in. So first thing that we're going to do, this is a makeshift bike rack bow vise. It's actually a bike vise that I'm using for bow, and it's got soft handles that we're going to put on the grip, so we're not worried about damaging the grip or anything, but this actually works pretty well. So we're just going to put it in here, and then that way we'll be able to adjust and level. But first thing we're going to do is we've got the Mathews Ultra Rest MX rest that we're going to put on it. This is the integrated rest from Mathews. It's specifically designed for the mounts on the back of their bow. I did a video on that previously. You can check it out right here. So we're going to go ahead and get this mounted on there. So the first thing that we're going to need to do, and I probably should have tested this, actually the first thing I'm going to need to do is put my trusty reading glasses on. So first thing that we're going to have to do is, this is actually a clamp that mounts onto a clamp on the back of the bow, the back of the riser here, which is very similar to, this is the Mathews V3X that I have, and this is the same rest that we're shooting on it. So it's going to mount to the back of the riser. We're going to use the big Allen wrench to take this cover off. We're just going to take that completely off, and then we'll mount it with the inside clamp. Get this one off first. And we'll use the smaller wrench to loosen that up. And we don't want to take it all the way off, but we want to loosen it up so that we can get it to fit on here. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these around so that we've got a better view of it, and I'm going to try to do it so that you can see it. And I can do this without being in the way. So we're going to see if we can make that happen. All right, so we're going to rotate it like that. All right, so again, this clamp is going to mount on the back side of the riser. You can see there's little grooves in here that we're going to clamp that into. All right, so we're going to get that kind of semi set on there. But you can see right here, and I'll get a B-roll image of that, there's a notch right here at the center of the burger button where ordinarily you'd screw that rest into. There's a notch, and you want to line that up with the arrow that's on the inside of that rest there. So we're going to get that, and that's going to be your zero center shot, I guess. So we're going to line that up and then tighten that down. Don't over tighten it because we don't want to strip that out. And then we've got this clamp is the one that's going to really hold it into place. And then we'll put that back in here. I have to forgive the sweatiness that's ensuing. We were out in our garage, and let me assure you, on this 4th of July holiday, it is very warm.
Very warm.
All right, so we've got that tightened down into place. All right, so this is where, again, I don't have the tools that we would have at Tim's shop, but we're gonna work with what we have. We don't have the appropriate string leveler, but we've got these buttons on here, and even with this long, big level here, we can turn it, and what we wanna do is just get that string as plumb or level as we can get it. Does that look pretty close, Hannah? Mm-hmm. All right, so that's gonna give us our starting point. Then what we wanna do is we're gonna put this arrow on here, and I'm gonna go ahead and tie in that knock serving point. And we're gonna put a D-loop on here, but I'm gonna go ahead and tie underneath here just to set it, so we'll know where our knock point is, and then we can tie our D-loop on either side of that. Okay, so I'm gonna take just a little bit of serving material here. Yeah, so what I wanna do now is I wanna make sure that that is as level as possible through that burger button. Hold that launcher up. Okay, I'm gonna tie it right there. Just an overhand knot. Right there. Okay, and then I'm gonna come around the back side, and I'm gonna tie an overhand knot. So I want to put that up there, and then I want to stack that so that the strings start stacking from underneath. Okay, so I'm going to come back around to this side. You can see just stacking it up just like that. I'm going to do one more on this side. Okay, pull those tight. And then I'm gonna make another, basically finish that off with a square knot going the other way here. On that side. I'm gonna go ahead and twist this way because we wanna make sure that we don't burn our string. I'm gonna cut that first. I'm gonna always cut away from my string. So that we don't cut into the string.
That would be real bad.
All right, and then we can take our lighter, and kind of the same thing, we always want to come, so that the flame's going up, we want to come down on it so that we're not getting that flame touching our string. So we're just going to come down on that until it burns into place, shorten it up. Okay. So that's going to give us a spot where we want to tie our D-loop. We got some D-loop material here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our D-loop material, cut this piece off. I'm going to cut a little bit longer just so we can make sure that we have enough to make our tie. Put this back on. What I'm doing is I'm just taking the loop like this, kind of wrapping it like this and making I think they call that a sheet bend knot. Don't quote me on that. Okay, and then we're going to pull that tight, fairly tight. And then we're going to take that frayed end, and we want to just fray that knot as much as we can, kind of feather it out. And we're going to take our lighter. We don't want to burn it, we just want to melt it. Now we can cinch that down so that it bites. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come around, we did that one that way, so we're on this other end, and we want it probably fairly short because it's going to stretch out a little bit when we pull on it. But we're going to come back around to the other side, and we're gonna come around this way. We're gonna come back through, around, and then back again. So what we've got the tagging coming this way and the other one on the opposite side. Then we can take our needle nose pliers, or if you have the correct tool, and just tighten that as pulling that so that you're cinching that down. Okay. What we're going to do is, and this is going to be maybe hard to see from a camera angle when we're doing it by ourselves, but Hannah, you can come here. So what we're looking for is everything to line, everything, the string, the riser, everything lined up. And is that tip going left, the tip of the arrow going to go left or to the right of the whole center?
Okay, so I line up my arrow with the base. I mean my string with the base. I see the arrow on the left of the string.
Okay, so we loosen our launcher on there. And then we can use our micro adjust to move that to the right. So we're just going to spin that. Okay, so that's going to be pretty close for now, and then of course we can, we'll go ahead and cinch that down, and then we'll make our adjustments when we paper tune it. It'll tell us whether we're knock right or knock left. Okay, so the next step that we did is, I don't have a bow press. That's one of the drawbacks of not having the shop available, and don't have a bow press, but we did a technique that I'm not going to show you. You can probably find how to do it online, but it's not recommended, and certainly not manufacturer recommended. But we went ahead and loosened it up so that we were able to separate our string to get our peep sight installed. And then we ran the tensioner cable from our launcher arm through the down cable on our cabling system here. This is the sight we pulled off Hannah's Avail. And so she's going to go ahead and put that on there. So Hannah really liked her Avail. And there's not a whole lot of difference between the Prima and the Avail. It's same axle to axle actually. Brace height was this a little shorter brace height, I think, than
this one was 5.5 and the other one was 6.
This one is 5.5 inches versus the 6 inches on the Avail, which makes it a little bit more aggressive bow. IBO speeds with the, what we said, this one's 346. Do you remember what the Avail was?
320.
So this one should be significantly faster, a little more efficient than the other bow, probably a little less forgiving. So we're gonna have to practice a lot more. But we really like the looks of this bow. This is a granite riser that we went ahead and put on it with the black limbs. We want to just kind of do a little bit different. Same riser that I have on my V3X over here, except that I went with the granite riser and the granite limbs. We decided to switch it up for Hannah a little bit. She's got the black limbs and the granite riser. Really good looking bow. All right, so we've got that set up on there. I guess the next thing we need to do is get that peep set up. So we put the peep in, and we're gonna go ahead and take it out of the little vise here. In fact, I'm gonna pull that up for now. All right, so Hannah's gonna knock an arrow. We're not going to shoot it.
I'm not going to shoot it.
We're going to knock it just to be safe, just in case something happens. We've got a target set up downrange, just in case something goes awry and it releases, we don't have damage to the bow from a dry fire. So I want you to go ahead and draw it back. It's, again, very light draw weight.
Is it? I wasn't sure.
So go ahead and draw it back, and then you're going to close your eyes and just settle in to what feels right. Does your nose on the string? How do you normally do that? Does it feel too long?
It does. I was about to say it's too long. Is that wrong?
Okay, go ahead and settle in. The peep needs to come down.
I just don't have the anchor on my nose and my hand anchor. I can't do both.
Does it feel uncomfortable?
It's just, I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable. I think it's different because it's not like I'm used to having that anchor on my nose and this right here behind my thing, and they don't match up anymore.
We've got the peep set where we want it, we're going to go ahead and tie it in. We'll do that off camera. And then go ahead and tie in our cable for our drop away rest. And then a couple other things that we're going to put on it. We've got these engaged limb legs, which I really like for my bow. You can see it standing up on that, so we went ahead and got it for hers. Great for a ground blind. They're fairly expensive, but well worth it when we're both trying to sit in a ground blind, figure out what to do with our bows. These work really well. Shot my axis with them on, so some people pull them off, some leave them on. We're going to see
How I do.
Yeah, what works best for you. We've got our stabilizer that will get put on there, a few other accessories. We'll get a quiver that we'll pull off the avail and put the same Mathews quiver on that. Anything else you want to add to this?
Nope.
Yeah, so we'll get it all prettied up and accessorized, get our arrows all matching, all that good stuff. So anyway, we're to the point this evening. We're kind of running out of time. We've got some other things that we have to do today, but we're to the point where we'll come back tomorrow and we'll actually do some shooting and see if we can kind of get a little bit sighted in. We're going to do a minor tune on it, but until we get that string shot in, there's really no sense doing a big tune. So our goal now is just start working on Hannah's form. We'll start shooting up close. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll get a little bit of that action in there as well. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do a little bit of shooting and we'll see y'all then. All right, so one thing we discovered when Hannah was drawing back her bow was that it didn't seem to be anchoring properly. So it looks a little bit longer. So we checked. She's 24.5-inch draw length on the avail, and we ordered, and it says 24.5-inch draw length on the new Prima. So we checked the module chart, and at 24.5 inches long, the avail has the H module. I think it's a Mathews Speed module, and the Prima has the G. So I think, and I consulted with my buddy Jeff Scott over at Cinnamon Creek Ranch, our favorite bow tech.
Our favorite.
And he concurred that we should be able to take the H module off of the avail and put it onto in replacement of the G module on the Prima and shorten that draw length by about 1/4 of an inch. So even though they're same axle to axle, I think there's a little bit difference in the string angle on those. And so anyway, we're going to go ahead and we don't need a bow press for this. We did decide to come inside because it is very warm out there, middle of the afternoon. Happy Independence Day again, by the way. So we're going to go ahead and remove the modules. There's 2 screws here and then one more where it attaches to the cable stop. Give us just a second to get this done and we'll be right back with it.
So I haven't shot my avails in about 6 months, maybe 8 months, since last hunting season. And whenever I first pulled that bow back, I'm not sure if it's like noticeable in the video, but it's really long. And my anchor points on this bow, I have one hand right here, like anchored on my jawbone, thank you. And then I have the string touching the tip of my nose. And when I pulled back on that one, I guess I didn't remember exactly my anchor points because I haven't pulled back in a while. So it just felt off to me, and it felt like my arm was further back than it should be. And we adjusted my stance, tried to figure it out, and couldn't figure it out. So I went and got this bow from inside the house, and I pulled it back just to see how I felt. And it was like instantaneous, all my anchor points right where they need to be. This hand on this jawline, the string hit my nose exactly where it was supposed to be. That's when we kind of noticed something was off, because at first we were like, maybe I just haven't pulled back in a while, my stance is wrong, maybe it's something with me. Dad apparently knows why it's this.
Well, we don't know exactly why. There's obviously something different with the draw on it, and you're comfortable with the way that you had been drawing, and so we want to make sure that we get it correct. Since we have the cam modules here and we're able to change them out, it's a real simple process to do it. There's no reason not to do it, so
we're gonna try.
We're gonna try it. When I woke up this morning, I went and sat on the couch and turned on the TV and I watched YouTube videos. And interestingly enough, a Caitlin Moss video came on and she was setting up her Prima. And so I'm assuming it's the Apple or the Google machine that's listening to us talk about a Prima. And so it was one of my suggested videos. But Caitlin Moss and Chris B were setting hers up. And I don't know, it appeared that maybe they didn't send hers with the correct modules. I don't know if she got it from the factory or from a different bow shop, but she ended up having to order new modules because hers didn't fit either. So I'm just wondering if there's something slightly off with the charts of the module system. So anyway, just ancillary note on that. We got the module switched out. Let's go ahead and carefully, very carefully, because we don't have an arrow in it and we don't want to dry fire it. We still have the poundage backed way off, you can see, so it shouldn't be difficult to draw.
Wait. My peep is too high, but it hits me where it's
Okay,
supposed
we
to.
can adjust the peep there.
It feels so much better.
And let down and draw again. All right, so that was a real quick adjustment that we were able to make on that. We'll get a good paper tune on it later. She's got to get on back to college, but for now we're going to go out and fire a couple shots, see how it feels, and then do you want to leave it here and I can get it paper tuned, or do you want to take it up to Live Oak up in College Station and see if they can
I
paper
think
tune it?
you should do it.
Okay, we'll get that done. So anyway, we'll meet y'all back outside and we're going to shoot a little bit.
We just got the bow adjusted and we have a target set up about 10 yards away, and now I'm just going to shoot it a few times, see how I feel with the new adjustment.
We haven't really even sighted it in, so this is just, we're close. We fired a couple of shots yesterday. We haven't increased the poundage, so this is just to get a feel for how the bow shoots. All right, so Hannah's got to get on back to college. We just wanted to do a real quick video while she was home, getting the bow set up. Actually, we just wanted to get the bow set up. We decided we'd video it while we're here and do a real quick upload. So we've got a lot more good stuff that we'll have coming your way. Got on a new lease there in Blanco County. So we're gonna be chasing axis and whitetail and hogs and turkeys and whatever else comes our way. And so we're really excited about what we've got coming up. So we appreciate y'all joining us for this one. Got a lot more coming up, and we'll see you on the next one. Anything you want to add?
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.